Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in again and watching another episode that I have on Business Talks. Today, what we're going to talk about is marketing segmentation. Now, this is a very common word nowadays. Everybody's talking about marketing this, marketing that, and it gets thrown around quite often without actually realizing what it is. And I hear a lot of people, oh, well, let's just put some pictures on Facebook and we're good. That's our marketing, right? Well, there's a lot more work involved to that, and there's a procedure for it, and I'm going to cover one of the ways that marketing should be done for you to have a successful business and product line for your company. So marketing is the act of figuring out who is your market. Market meaning people, the geography, the demographics, all these things are covered under marketing. And posting an ad on Facebook, that's actually advertising. So advertising comes after marketing. Marketing is it's you planning on what you're gonna do and how you're gonna deploy advertising to the best results for your business. And one of the things I like to point out is that the same product might sell at two different places for two completely different prices, but the profit that comes from that sale might be exactly the same. So I have a lot of customers come in here and they want to actually sell their service in a different city with a different neighborhood, different demographic, because they think that it's going to generate them more income and they'll have more sales for that, and the bargaining is less, right? Well, if you present your product in a different way, or you have the factors of production that we talked about before in a fashion that leverages your input so you can get greater output, then the profit is going to be the same. So for example, say I have a 99-cent store. Now, $1 selling anything for $1 might not be something that might make you think rich, but if we look at the owner of the 99-cent stores, that guy is a multi-millionaire, right? And all he does is sell $1 items $1 at a time in a neighborhood that's highly needed, right? And people go there and buy it. Now, if I could see the same product in a grocery store and in let's say an affluent neighborhood, right? So that same product, let's for example pretend it's dish soap. So dish soap at a 99-cent store would be 99 cents. But if you go to a grocery store in a different part of town, that might be $2.99 for that same bottle. What happens is that you think that that person at the grocery store might be making more money because they're charging $1.99 for it, but have to consider the lease, the presentation of it, right, and the appearance of the store in its totality. So if I walk into a nice store, I expect it to smell nice, I expect it to be clean, I expect a lot of service compliments that comes with that price. As opposed to when I go into a 99-cent store, then I don't expect any of that. I know it's cheap, I'm just gonna go buy it, bring it back, and it's done, right? So for me to put all these things extra onto the presentation of the sale, it's going to cost more money. So at the end of the day, if I sell this dish soap for $1.99, I might only end up with 50 cents profit, which is the same thing that I'm making over at the 99-cent store. See, and demand for 99-cent item is going to be much higher. So even if I make 30 cents for that one bottle that I sell, I might sell 3 or 4 of them right from the start. So more people are willing to buy. So that's, that is the difference between price and demand, right? So if the price is low, the demand's going to go up, and I'm going to sell a lot more of it. So that's kind of how marketing works. You kind of have to figure these things out. And what I like to do is I like to start with my market first, because if I have most people start from the opposite direction, is what is my what do I service, and then let me sell it. Right? So what do I service, and where are the people that are going to buy it? Right? And I like to do the other way, upside down, which is what market am I in, and how and what am I going to sell them? Not necessarily what I want to sell them, but what they want to buy. See the difference? One, you're trying to push something to them, right? And you're moving around trying to find that one person that wants it, and the other is you go somewhere and you try to find out what they want and you provide that need for them. So it's much easier. So for example, here I have first I start off with my market, and that market's gonna be where I'm at. So the incomes that people make, the demographics of the people, the geography, all these things is my market. Who are they? Who are the people that actually live in here, right? So if I pick a city, this city is my market, right? Who is my buyer? So my buyer would be the people that live in this neighborhood. I've determined who they are. Say we have a population of 50,000 people. Who are these 50,000 people? What do they do, right? Do they do construction? Do they do, are they teachers? Do they work in manufacturing? Are they mechanics? Stay-at-home moms? Dads? These things matter, right? So who is the buyer? What do they do, right? And after I decide what they do, then I determine what product I'm going to offer them. It's not necessarily what I want to offer them, it's what they are looking for, right? And for example, if I'm a realtor, right? So as a realtor, there's different products that I could sell. So I could specialize in rentals, right? I could be a property manager. I could do businesses. I could do commercial. I could do condos, town. All these things I could do. Now, which one do I prefer to do? Does not necessarily go into this equation of what is the need in the market that I'm in. So if I determine that in this market there's a lot of investors, right, then I'm gonna create advertising to market to those investors. If it's first-time home buyers, right, then I'm gonna market to them. If it's, for example, people that just graduated from university, then I'm going to create the marketing, the advertising to market to them, right? So what is the product that I plan to deliver to them to the greatest amount of buyers? Also, what makes the difference is if I do have a product, but if I start working with low income home buyers, then how am I going to get low income home buyers to actually become middle income home buyers? And this way they could purchase a house more easily. Or if I'm going to work with low income home buyers, what programs am I going to offer? What services, what tutoring am I going to offer that's going to help them easily buy a home? So all these things I have to put into place before I even start thinking about my advertising. And lastly is the price. So if, for example, with the dish soap, if I know there's a 99-cent store here and I open up another store right across the street and I try to sell it for $5, I'm never going to be able to sell that, right? So I would have to find items that the 99-cent store doesn't sell to that market that would be able to buy it or would likely want to buy it, right? So those are things I have to consider, and the price is the most important one. It varies if you're selling a service or you're selling a product, but if I have a service, what is comparable to that service? So if I have, say I'm a mover, right? And we talked about moving last time. So if I'm a mover and I have to deliver, the going rate for this is say $1,500, and what is going to be in my service included and what's not going to be included for that price? Because you can't do the same service. And if I want to profit, say $1,000, what is that going to cover up to? So when people do hire me, this is what the actual service is going to offer. And I know I'm still making the same profit as I were if I was working somewhere else, or if I was in another city, right? And then taking into consideration the cost of me driving, cost of additional services that might need to be added for me to warrant the asking price that I'm suggesting. So all these things come into consideration. So again, when you have a service, first off, think about your market, then your buyer, what is the product, and lastly, how much profit you're gonna make, and how much profit you need in the business to stay in business serving that market, right? And how are you gonna improve those buyers so they could come back to you and pay you more the second time around. So it's all about growing your customers into the buyer that you would like them to be. So that's how I think about it. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Also, please like or subscribe. It helps me out a lot. So you guys can stay in touch with some of the next business videos that I make. Hope to hear from you soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.